of a mineral called wolfenite. It's a lead molybdenum sulfate. It very, very fragile, and the mineralogists I'm gonna love it. And before there's not ever been there's no specimens of wolfenite from the Golden Rule mine, so we found a new source of it, and they were quite excited about it. And I myself, Philip King, and my son would go up to the U of A mineralogy department, and we'd get to use some of their testing equipment. Some of it's going to be on the next Mars mission, but we got to utilize that stuff as well as worked with them.
Did that involve also the use of different chemicals for the purpose of?
Yes, nitric acid. We have to reduce these sulfides and stuff
Your Honor,
with acids.
I'm going to object on relevance. I don't think.
Well,
this is relevant.
we don't need to go a lot further with that. So
Okay.
that's fine.
Existing.
Well, I do have one more question about that, just the timing. When did you speak when were you working with the U of A on this?
Before and after.
Before and after which date?
The date in question, on the date that they said I was trespassing, in that they found a meth lab or whatever there. It was my mining chemicals.
Okay. So you were, how early did you start talking to the University of Arizona about the geologist, or with the geologist about the minerals?
I couldn't tell you exactly.
Was it a matter of months before?
Yes.
The January date?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think I have no further questions at this time.
It's Livesay, you said, right?
Yes.
I apologize.
Livesay.
I apologize for that. With regards to your testimony about it not being a meth lab, I'm not trying to prove whether or not it was a meth lab or not, but it's your testimony that you were intending to mine in the mine with those chemicals?
No, not to mine. We have to see what's there first. It's called. We have to process and see what there is there first before you mine.
Looking for minerals. Is that a fair statement?
Well, they're there, but you have to establish if it's economical to mine those minerals, like how hard it is to extract them from the ores, and if there's enough available there. Assaying is called.
Okay. What is your understanding of how to get a valid mine claim out there?
It's on the pamphlet that I just follow the pamphlet that they have the BLM.
But what is your understanding of how you do that?
It's hard to have everything in my mind, so I just go by the guideline of the pamphlet that they provide, and they send a packet, and that's what I followed.
Okay, back in November, December, January, okay?
Which one?
Any of those times. So I don't know when exactly you tried to put out, stake a claim. When did you try?
Just ask me.
When did you try and stake a claim?
I did stake my claim on the 27th of November.
Okay. What was your understanding of what you needed to do to actually have a valid claim?
I'd have to refer back to the pamphlet because that's what I followed.
You don't recall what you did?
No, that wasn't the question you asked me.
Okay, what did you do?
You asked what my understanding was.
You're saying you had a valid claim, correct?
I never said that as well either.
So you're saying you didn't have a valid claim?
I didn't say that as well either.
Did you have a valid claim on the mine? Do you believe
not up to me.
Do you believe you had a valid claim on the mine?
Yes,
Okay. Why do you believe that?
because I staked it in accordance with the BLM law.
How did you stake it in accordance with the BLM
I
law?
followed the pamphlet guidelines.
What did you do? What did you physically do?
I staked it center line on top in the exact location, longitude, latitude, in the middle at the top, the center of the claim, at the end, and at the four corners.
Okay. After that, what did you do?
Went home and ate some fried chicken, I believe.
Okay. Okay. You ate fried chicken. Did you ever go register your claim with the county?
Yes,
Okay. When did you do that?
I'm real bad with dates. I'd have to refer back to the paperwork.
And that's the exhibit in front of you? Yes, that is that the paperwork you're referring to?
I believe you were referring to it.
You said you'd have to look at the paperwork.
Yeah.
Is that the paperwork that you would have to look at?
I couldn't tell you right now for sure. I just go to the website at the Cochise County Recorder's Office.
Tanner, we have another exhibit, Mark?
Excuse me?
We have an exhibit, Mark?
Yes.
I believe this one is on the subsequent claim
Hold on.
afterwards. Okay.
May I have parts of witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, so in front of you, do you still have it, if this is the paper? Is marked Defense Exhibit A, and that's what you just testified to previously with your attorney. And then also in front of you is now State's Exhibit number 4. Do you recognize State's Exhibit number 4?
Yes, it has my signature on it.
All right, so that's your signature on it.
Mhm.
And the date on Defense Exhibit number A, what is the date that was written in there?
The 27th of November.
Okay. And then, is this notice of mining claim purported to be your notice for the mine in question that we're talking about today? But
But this is irrelevant because the date of the trespassing was within our within our
I
90-day
understand.
Hold
period.
on, stop. Okay. She'll ask the question.
Okay.
Listen to me. She'll ask the question. If your attorney thinks it's irrelevant, he can object to it. Okay?
this paper right here,
Mhm.
the one that's already entered into evidence, this is the one that you're saying is your notice of claim on that mine that we've been testifying to, that you were on and the Ritters showed up. You know what I'm talking about?
It's the same place, yes.
Okay. This other exhibit that you said that you signed, is this the same property or is this a different property?
This is the same property.
Okay. There's a discrepancy in the, okay, and what's the date on this second exhibit that's marked as State's Exhibit number 4? What's the date on this one that you wrote in there?
Okay, these are two separate claims. This one is a larger claim, so this is not the same one as this one though.
Okay. What,
That's why there's a different date.
all right, so with regards to this one that State's Exhibit number 4, you're saying this is a different claim than Defense Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Okay. The date on this one is what?
Which one are we talking about?
The 24th of February.
On State's Exhibit number 4.
The 24th of February, 2015.
Okay, what property is this one for?
This is the one previously in question, plus 4 more claims, as you can see on the map right here.
So you added 4 other claims to this one and is that correct?
No, after one expired, you can't add to it. It's a new claim.
What claim expired?
You have 90 days to register your claim after you stake it. That time for this first one expired, so we went out and staked a new claim that gave us 90 more days to have this one registered.
Okay, so you had 90 days to stake your first claim, which you wrote in the date of November, correct?
Yes, 90 days after that date.
Okay, and you didn't do that? You never,
Is that a question?
you never registered your first claim?
Well, there's no, I don't recall.
Yes,
I don't tell you the truth.
you said
I work with my
it's
partner, and if you look at the paperwork, it's not my name on it, so I myself, no, I did not.
Okay. But then there's a Cochise County stamp on the top of both of these
Mhm.
claims. All right? Is that true?
Yes,
Okay. And on the first one, that's State's Exhibit number 4 here, that's marked February 24th of 2015, which you're saying is to replace the old claim, right? Because this is the defense exhibit number 1 is the old claim that you said expired, right?
I guess.
Okay.
I just don't see how this has to do with trespassing.
Listen,
All right.
I'm confused.
What is the date on top that this is, that is stamped by Cochise County?
Well, it's right there clearly,
What is it?
2/26/15.
Okay. And then let's look at Defense Exhibit A. There's a stamp there from Cochise County as well. What is the date on there?
2/20/2015.
Okay, so what happened in 6 days that you decided to register a second claim on this property that's even bigger than the first claim?
Oh, I realized that David Ritter made fundamental mistakes when he staked his claim, so it was abandoned, and so we made the follow-up.
So on here, okay, I'm sorry, can you restate what your answer was?
We claimed all of his claims because by default, on his paperwork, there's no dates on it. He put all the claim markers in one jar. Everything at the very beginning he did wrong, so everything subsequent doesn't matter, so
With
it's
regard-
open.
Okay, so did you ever submit these to BLM to get a date stamp on them?
No, there's no date stamp on them.
Did you ever get approval from BLM that solidified any of the claims that you're making that his claim wasn't valid?
No, because I wanted to see what would happen here first. It'd be pointless if the decision went against me. Why would I waste all that money?
So it's just your opinion that he had an invalid claim?
No, I have video evidence of it.
Okay, but you didn't bring that to court today.
I didn't.
You never disclosed it to the state.
I have to talk to my lawyer about that.
And, or the state would offer exhibit number 4, state's exhibit number 4 into evidence.
any objections, Mr. Robert?
No objections.
So ordered.
So with regards to state's exhibit number 4, where you wrote in November 27th of 2015 is the date that you filled that out. It's the one on your
Yeah.
left. Okay.
Only thing in my hand, I see my signature, but I didn't write that in. I believe my partner did.
Okay. So you didn't write that date in?
No,
All right.
but I saw it and signed for it though.
But it was never registered with the county until February 20th, correct?
It's right here, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to understand, you said that there was you placed this notification on some center line of a property, correct?
Not some center line, the center line for the Golden Rule Mine. It's,
The one that you decided was the boundaries for it, correct?
well, that's what you do when you stake a claim. You make your boundaries.
Right. But Mr. Ritter had decided that there were 5 different mines, and so he had different boundaries than you, correct?
I don't know, they're all over the map.
So,
But
but if he stakes 5 different claims on a large property, that center line's gonna be different than your center line, correct? Yes or no?
I do not know the law. If you want to know it, maybe you can borrow his book, because I can't tell you.
I'm sorry, I thought you did. You said earlier you did understand it, so that's why I'm following up.
Well, I'm not going to,
Okay.
don't
No.
quote me on it.
No further?
Can I have just a second?
Yes, I thought you said nothing
Okay,
further.
not on that question anyway. With regards to, there's an exhibit in front of you, I believe it's marked as exhibit number 2. It's a handwritten note. Do you see that exhibit up there?
Yes,
Okay. And I believe it's marked as 2. Can you tell me what the number is on the back of there, of that first line? Is that 2?
no, it's not.
What number is it?
I think it's a 3.
Okay, State's Exhibit number 3. And do you recognize that? No?
Can't say that I do.
Okay, well, no questions about that then. Your partner that you keep referring to is Philip King, is that correct?
Yes.
And it's your testimony today that Mr. Ritter never attempted to talk to you any of those times you saw him out at the mine?
I'm not saying that he never attempted to. I'm saying I never conversed with him,
Okay, so he did attempt to talk to you.
but I had nothing to say to him.
Okay. Did you, on that date, January 9th of 2015, stop and think to look at the paperwork he tried to show you?
No.
You just didn't want to know whether or not he had a claim or not. True?
He was being combative, and I didn't want to be in a situation that was escalating. And so I walked away from there
Where did you go?
into the desert.
Into the desert? So you didn't go into the mine?
No,
And you were walking on a trail, though, that was in the mine area, is that correct?
no, I was not on the trail because the trail dead ends at the mine
Okay. Where was your car parked that day?
on the road, next to the road right there. When they pulled up next to us,
All right. You said the road right there. What road?
the road that comes through the private property on Anthony Casal's property.
Okay.
If I was blocking the road, then how they pull up next to me?
I'm not saying you blocked the
Okay.
road. I was just asking where you were parked. On January 9th of 2015, it was the evening, about, correct? When you had contact with Mr. Ritter that day?
Yes, it was dark.
Okay. And you were parked there. Who was the woman you were with?
I wasn't with a woman.
Who were you with?
I was with myself and my dog and a bunch of bees.
A bunch of bees, is that what you said?
Yes,
Okay. What had you been doing? What were you doing out there?
I was relocating some bees.
Okay. You were relocating some bees?
Yes, killer bees.
Okay. And with regards to the mine, what did you do at the mine that day?
I was relocating bees. I had my bee suit on. I wasn't mining.
Okay. You were relocating them into the mine, or?
No, away from the mine. They're killer bees and they were dangerous.
So you were taking them away from the mine so that they wouldn't harm anybody?
Yes,
Okay. So like, did they have a hive in the mine, or?
there's multiple hives all over the place right there and they're mean.
Okay. And so you were clearing them out of the mine?
No relocating them. They're up above the mine. They're just in a bunch of crevices and stuff all around the mine.
Okay. I have no further questions, Chairman.
I got a question. Since the 9th of January, you haven't been back to the mine, is that correct? Or have you?
I have been back, yes.
You have?
Yes, I have.
And you've been inside of it?
What's that now?
You've been inside the mine since the 9th?
No, to the mine.
Okay. Any follow-up from that question?
What do you mean by to the mine?
To the mine, I mean, right there, to the mine.
Like you did, explain to me, do you just go and sit?
An officer pulled out a weapon, pulled the trigger, and I went back and I recovered the next day the .223 shell with an indent in the primer that was left there on the road.
Okay, so like, let me clarify. So you weren't there to mine?
No, I was there to get my car and to gather the evidence of the bullet that was on the ground there.
Okay. Anything else from the state? You want, Mr. Howard?
Yes, as far as the paperwork, the exhibit number, or letter A, Defense Exhibit A, I believe it was testified, but I want to make sure that your testimony is that is the document that was included with your monument in staking.
Yes. Excuse me.
And that's the document dated the 27th of November.
Yes.
2014. And so any
No,
activity.
I believe it's the 24th of November, I'm sorry.
The one that's.
Well, there's all these up here with no, I can't see
Yeah.
it on which one's which because there's no markings on them. Okay, they're on the back. A is this one? This is 4. Okay, so this is A.
Okay.
Yes, it is the 27th.
And that's the one that you're basing your initial claim on, and that you were operating under the belief that you were working within your 90-day timeframe of establishing that claim, and it would have been within that 90-day timeframe of establishing that claim.
Form of the question, Your Honor. Leading and compound.
90 days
All right,
past.
stop, hold on. What's the question, Mr. Robert?
Yeah, let me restate it. That was
Okay.
a poorly stated question. Is that the claim that you were operating under in the December-January timeframe involved in this case?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And any subsequent to that time, have you gone out to that area for the purpose of trying to determine what's happening there because you're still interested in the mining claim?
Yes.
And as far as the desert there, the BLM land, is it your understanding that is public land?
Yes, that's why I was kind of confused about the trespassing thing.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Let me step down. All right, Mr. Howard, any other witnesses?
Your Honor, I would like to just briefly call Philip King, who is on the paperwork here as a partner of Mr. Livesay.
Look, it's gonna be the same type of testimony?
It's just would be his testimony as to those same claims.
Okay. I don't see any reason that you would need to call him hold on real quick. I don't see any reason you need to call him if it's in reference to the type of claims. I think we've kind of got a little off of the reason we're here. We're talking about claims and a bunch of other things, but we're talking about criminal trespass. Is he gonna testify into anything reference to criminal trespass?
His testimony would only have relevance to whether or not my client's claim that he had a right to be on that property. As to the date in question, no, he was not there.
Okay, then I don't think that'd be relevant then. Any other witnesses besides that?
No, that's all.
Okay, anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, closing.
Your Honor, the state would ask this court to consider the testimony that you've heard today from Mr. Ritter and from Mrs. Ritter about this mine and the property, and that they had a valid claim on this mine, and that that they had the right to be there, and that they had asked the defendant not to be there, and that he still, based on their testimony, that he went over into the mine area after they told him not to. And Ms. Ritter testifies that the trail that he left on was part of the mine property. Mr. Livesay's testimony about his purpose with that mine was mining and extracting chemicals, not mining exactly, but to explore those chemicals and to know whether or not they were worth mining. So he was exploring the mine, and there was evidence of pans there, other tools there, and I don't think he denies that that was the purpose of his being wanting that mine. Do we have any evidence that day that he was actually mining that day? No. When the Ritters showed up, he was there in the car and he took off. We don't know exactly what he was doing prior to that, but based on his own testimony that that's what he did at that mine and that's what those chemicals were used for, we can infer that that's what he was there doing. And his intent there was to mine. And I don't think there's any doubt as to whether or not this was government property or whatever. I think that that's irrelevant because he's trying to stake a claim. So if he's saying he thinks that's public property, I think that's contradictory to the whole claim testimony. But anyway, I think it's important to look at these claims that they've provided, that the defense has provided. The one says November 27th, and then the stamp isn't until February, and the other one is a couple days later and has a new date on it. So I think that just isn't consistent. And then we have the claim from the victims that is consistent with the testimony, and it's laying out the properties. He's got asterisks where he put these notices, and it's date stamped. It's signed, and then it's date stamped from Phoenix by December 1st, 2014 in the BLM stamp area. So it's all prior to all this occurring. So it shows that they had a valid claim on this property. And I don't think that, I'm going to assert that it's not okay to just